version.
So you
My
just have the
torso
webcam,
and cat.
the video on your cat, like nothing else. You don't need to see anybody else's faces. We just need to see cat.
Kitten, technically, he's not a year old yet.
Aw, baby.
He's a big kitten, but he's a kitten nonetheless.
We have a stream.
Yay!
Do I
I've
still sound
moved-
like a robot?
No, you
No.
sound good.
No, he's
Sounds
good.
fine.
Okay. Yay.
So I've moved the camera very slightly, so you've got a kind of a good angle at the cat and an angle at my face.
Oh yeah, let me see that cat butt.
It's right here.
Please.
This is all but.
All the time.
Yeah. You should probably put a nudity warning on this because he's not wearing clothes.
Hang on 1 second.
I started with one of those like on the first episode. Don't worry.
He just left me though. I have no idea. No, you're good.
I've realised what Gus is excited about. He can see the reflection my watch is making on the wall, and he's going absolutely apeshit. I feel like I should turn the camera for you guys, but this is a lot of fun.
No, leave it on. Okay, so sorry about that. I am actually, I mean, I hope that
Okay.
didn't.
No,
come
you're
through
good.
Too much.
No. You can't see him.
We can no longer see you or the cat.
That's a pretty nice mouse though.
Pesky little guy. He's moving on. He's having fun. He's not trying to be photogenic. I'm sure he'll climb across the laptop and disconnect the call at some point later.
Oh, 100%.
Pesky little guy. I'm just gonna move your seat back, bud. Maybe like move out of the way. Okay, nope. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if I can angle this camera a little bit more funner. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All cats all the time.
The cat staring at the wall cast.
Yeah.
Damn it. We could have had that great SEO. People
Is
love
it-
cats.
Here, look, I got one too in the window.
Is he even like looking at it? Oh,
I don't know if it comes through, but there's a bunch of scratch marks on that wall where the paint
yeah,
was
yeah.
peeled
Kinda see.
because Banana misses a lot trying to get up there.
Cat named Banana. That's pretty good.
I got banana splits and pizza party.
Those are beautiful.
Thank you.
Obviously
was inherited, so.
I wanted to call Gus Oliver because I wanted to name my cat after DC TV cat superheroes. The first cat is named Barry Allen.
Isn't Oliver and Company a Disney movie about a cat?
Yeah, that's why Fiona said we couldn't name him Oliver because he wasn't ginger. I'm actually going to take my watch off because otherwise he's going to go absolutely mental anytime I try and gesticulate. Okay, everybody ready?
Yep.
Sure.
As ready as I'll ever be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Gaming Fix, the best ever podcast recorded by 5 or 6 close personal internet friends who live on different sides of the world. I am your chairman. I think that's a good way to start. I'm your chairman, Sam Harrison. With us today, we have Alex.
I'm on the side of the world that's about to fall off because the world's flat.
Oh.
Allison.
But how would you fall off if gravity's not real?
And then we have Andre.
I am a CFO of the podcast. Also, I need to get my Paragon refund soon.
Has that just reminded you?
No, that was what I was gonna say, but then you set up this new intro theme that Alex did not adhere to.
And Erica?
Hello, I'm here. My camera works.
And subbing in for Pat J. Cotter again. Sorry to have lost you, Pat. I know it's been a tough few weeks being dead and all.
Still dead to us.
Yeah, dead to us. We hope that eventually you'll emerge from the rise from the grave. But subbing in this week, we have Chris Edgerton. Hi, Chris.
Hi, welcome. Somehow I didn't get kicked off the podcast. That's weird for me.
Well, I did replace you with a cat, but he's not played much this week. I don't think he's got much to say.
Last minute sub.
Yeah, last minute sub.
Cat just keeps staring at the wall anyways, so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
Allison?
Podcast. 1 second. We lost audio again. Hello?
hello.
Sorry.
Hello.
We lost audio for a second.
We're back.
We're good.
Yay.
Okay, everyone. So, going back to the running order of the show, what we're going to do this week is we're going to have a little bit of what everyone's been playing, and then afterwards we're going to do some news, and we're going to finish up straight from there. I think the intention today is to have a nice, tight, firm, excellent show. So I will try not to play Oscar music for people, but if everyone's going on too long, maybe the orchestra will come out. I don't want to go first this week. I think we should have Erica this week.
Oh, okay. I have been playing Mario plus Rabbids.
Oh, dang.
So this is a game that I've owned for a little while because Xavier bought it. But I have been really dragging my feet on because I fucking hate Rabbids. So, I don't know if you guys know, but there is a television show on Nickelodeon, which has, I looked up, 78 episodes. I have seen each of those episodes multiple times because my charge is love Rabbids. It is the worst television show I have ever seen in my life. Rabbids are not funny. They are terrible. Listen,
Tense.
I have probably seen about the same number of episodes of The Big Bang Theory as I have Rabbids. Rabbids are way worse. Way worse.
Have you seen that Sonic, whatever the Sonic show is, Sonic Boom or whatever?
I have seen that show too.
Is it better or worse than Rabbids?
Rabbids is worse. I am not exaggerating when I say Rabbids is the worst show I have ever seen.
How can woke Knuckles be bad?
But like, wow, I really just, there's nothing appealing about Rabbids to me just because I hate that show with every part of my being. But anyway, so I decided to play that game because I needed a game to play and I didn't feel like searching around for one to buy, so I started playing that one. I touched XCOM, but I never really put like a ton of time into it, so this is kind of my first one of those types of games. And I will say I am enjoying it, but I don't know if it's like my favorite game. And I think a lot of it has to do with just my distaste for rabbits. Like every time anytime I see a rabbit, I'm just like, oh, it's just like, I don't want to deal with you. But and then I have a couple of other weird issues with it. Like when you're moving around in the world, you are this little robot friend named Beepo, and it feels kind of like Beepo is more of like a cursor for you to lead Mario around. So I'm constantly like lined up with the wrong thing because Beepo's so much smaller than the rest of my characters. Yep. So I'm always like bumping into walls and not lined up where I want it to be. But it's that's not that big of a deal, I guess. But it just, other than that, it's just stupid Rabbid humor, which I'm not a big fan of. But I'm enjoying the gameplay. I like the XCOM bits.
That
I really
Goomba's
like
on
it.
a bidet.
Yeah, the Goomba
Yeah, the
bidet. I was
Goomba
literally
bidet.
trying to remember how funny that was.
And like there were a couple of jokes, I actually took pictures of them so I could say them, which I thought was funny. I was running around the Mushroom Kingdom, I got to like a part that was blocked off, and Beepo said, if we could unlock these gates, we could visit this haunted slum of imaginable horrors anytime we wanted. And I was like, okay, that's cute, it's funny. But then there's also some weird quality of life issues in that game where I originally talked to Peach in the Mushroom Kingdom, regular Peach, not Rabid Peach. And she said, okay, when you want to go back, just head to this cannon. And it was like a very slow, like pan over to where it was. And then I went and did something else and accidentally triggered the thing to talk to Peach again. And she showed me where it was again. And I couldn't like X out of that super slow pan over to where it was. But I mean, I don't think it's enough to make me not play the game. So I hear there's fun stuff coming. So I'm gonna probably stick it out at least a little while longer.
I'll be interested to see how you like it, because the thing that sort of got me is that it seems to get more puzzle like as the game goes on. Like it seems like that there is maybe one like perfect solution. So I'll be interested to see as you go forward how you deal with that, because that was the thing, like aside from not having a Nintendo Switch, that would have stopped me from buying that game, because I don't like when tactics games turn into there's only one solution.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped going back to try to get perfect on each of them now. Like I did that for the first few levels, and it definitely does feel like there's a way, like a perfect way to do each level. But you can still, as long as you end up with all of your guys still alive at the end of each level, you still get a perfect score. So I'm not that worried about it, I guess.
Right.
And if I end up with somebody dead at the end, I'm not. They come right back to life after, so
Yeah,
it's
not too
there's
punishing.
no there's no huge punishment for losing.
I think that's what made me stop. Was I definitely was like, no, I need the perfect score for every level, and then it got kind of hard, and I was like, no, but I can't pass if I don't get perfect. So maybe I'll have to go back and kind of let that go and actually finish that game.
I feel you. I was very much thinking about it, and I was just like, let me just get through a little more of this game, because I gotta record a podcast and I want to have stuff to say about it. So
Yeah.
How far did you get?
I am towards the end of World 1. I want to say World 1 level 9 or 10, something like that. And I'm enjoying it. I like the little pieces in between the world, where sometimes you got to interact with things in the world to get to the next spot, like line up pipes and things, and I thought that was fun. But we'll see how long I stick with it, because I hate rabbits.
That game it just gets harder and harder, and like I fell off in like the third world.
Yeah, that's where I was too.
Same
And
place.
that's where they've got like the ghost opera boss, which is supposed to be like the best part of that game, but just getting there is like I don't wanna.
Well, then I probably won't stick with it, because it's not crazy, to be honest. But we'll see.
Cool. I fell off at almost the same point, I have to say. But when we're talking about terrible TV shows, I just want you to see if you can look up a TV show that I think was on TV Land called Dads, starring Giovanni Ribisi and Seth Green. It is definitely the worst TV show I've ever seen.
Doing that right
Last
now.
Man Standing, starring Tim Allen.
Oh God.
That's
I've
not
never
a TV
actually
show.
seen-
That's
I've
a
never seen that.
platform.
I've seen a few episodes because I have a family member that enjoys that show.
Apparently, 76% of users liked this TV show, according to Google. Dads, I mean.
76% of people are wrong. Andre, what have you been playing? Pretty tactical.
I've been playing a lot. Let's see, but infamous second son. They should have called it third. I get he is like the second protagonist, but it's the third game, so it's third son. Let's see. Into the Breach. Is there anything else I've been playing? Oh, Reigns Her Majesty. People should check out that game. It's a mobile game. I think it's like $3. Cool interactive fiction thing. But yeah, Into the Breach has been my main jam. I played it a lot last night. Going off Rabbids, Mario Cross Rabbids, Infinite Tag, Under Night.ex, Fighting Lair. Yeah, Into the Breach is from Subset Games, the people who made FTL. It is incredibly in that FTL style. Like the art is like that pixely and the sci-fi stuff. There are you have like character hero type things. It's like Warcraft 3 to Warcraft 2. You got like these characters that like give you extra abilities and stuff. And so you have like a team of 3 mechs that you use to fight off giant bugs that are threatening to destroy what remains of humanity. You go about these islands and you fight off these bugs in these kind of diorama-esque, probably like 10 by 10 squares. Maybe they're a little bigger than that, but not much bigger.
I think you might be missing 2 really interesting parts of that, though. One. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
So you let's see. Oh yeah. So you're a time traveler.
One of them.
And so you every time you fail a mission, you can send back one of your living pilots to the past, and you get to use them. But you don't like have to do that. I don't know. It like builds out your starting pilot list. So once you like get to the end, I don't think it'll actually matter, unless I don't know. I haven't played enough of it to know for sure, but maybe if you do that, then you don't have to level them up, and you get like access to all their other skills. And if you don't bring them back, then you have, or if you use like one from just the start, you have to like level them up to gain access to their other like passive bonuses. And the cool thing is you can see everything that the enemies are planning to do before they do it. So you have the map, and it'll say like, okay, this enemy is going to attack here, this enemy is going to attack here, and blah blah blah. And you can knock enemies like out of their space and like knock them into another space, which will then change where they can attack. And so you could like knock them so they are now aiming at another bug, and then on their turn they will attack that bug and maybe kill it. You can also see the attack order, so you can like maneuver them into the proper orientation so they like hit each other in a good order. And there are like environmental hazards like water, which pretty much always kills a bug unless they're a flying bug, because then they don't have to go in the water. And just like big holes that erupt from like earthquakes and stuff, and other environmental hazards like lightning and tsunamis and whatnot.
Mayonnaise?
It's very cool. What was that?
Did you say mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise? No. Tsunamis?
Oh, I don't know why I heard mayonnaise.
It's a mayonnaise tsunami. I mean, in Japan, that is a very real threat, I imagine. I have not actually encountered much mayonnaise while I've been here, but they do love mayonnaise here. Yeah, I don't know if I hit the other thing you were talking about, Alex.
Well, I was going to say it's that kind of cyberpunk dystopian future where all those islands are owned by corporations.
Oh yeah. There's like the detritus disposal or something. They're the garbage island. They get rid of the garbage, but and then there's what were the other themes? I don't remember. There's like a terraforming one or something. Yeah, it's like Pacific Rim meets Edge of Tomorrow, or Live Die Repeat, or All You Need Is Kill.
Starship Troopers.
If you're nasty. So it's very cool. The soundtrack is killer. Just like FTL. FTL had an amazing soundtrack.
I think this is better.
I haven't listened to it enough, but I could see that argument. So yeah, it's got an amazing soundtrack. The style's great. And like, I don't know, Chris might not like it since he was saying he doesn't care for like the puzzly tactics games, but it is just like
Well,
there
that would.
can't. Let me finish, and then
Right,
I'm
yeah,
happy
yeah,
to
yeah.
let you, because this is kind of the
Yeah,
last
go
thing.
ahead.
Is there is like pretty much an optimal way to get through every mission, and since it shows you what everything is going to do, you can just sit there and stare at the map for as long as you need to and go, okay, if I like move this guy over here and I can minimize the damage, and then move that guy and do all sorts of fun stuff. And it feels really good when you like finish a level and you haven't taken any damage, or like taken any like power grid damage, because like the city taking damage is how your power grid goes down. So you can either lose by losing all your mechs in one level, or by having like the total health bar of like humanity go down.
Yeah, that was the thing I was gonna say. Is the turn order and like the amount of information that it actually gives you changes that entire thing for me, because most games just hide that stuff, right? They tell you in like smaller ways, but like when it actually gives you all the information and makes it fair like that, to me makes it really great. And it sounds like with the way you're able to sort of bring pilots back and sort of keep them, that it might get rid of the FTL problem, which is you have to just have a really good run.
Yeah.
Like it's not so dependent on your run. You can do it. It seems like you can do a lot more things to make it okay and make it manageable.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. Like it's definitely not as like RNG reliant as FTL. That's kind of the one thing I don't like about it, actually. Like not necessarily like the combat and stuff. Like I think the combat is amazing, and I would rather play this than FTL, I think.
Right.
I haven't played FTL in a while, but I do miss the storytelling from FTL, because there isn't a lot of like storytelling happening outside of, oh, I went to this new island, now they're saying some weird like corporate stuff about how, oh, I guess we're gonna use your help to save ourselves, and then like occasional like dialogue, but it's not nearly as like in depth as like the events in FTL, and I wish there was some of that in here.
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of just flavor text. Like,
Yeah.
there's not really a story other than you're trying to keep the bugs away.
Yeah. Like, so I can't like few time pods will come out of the sky, and then you like collect those, and they'll give you like new items and stuff, like, or a new pilot depending, because they come from the future. But there isn't a way to oh yeah, no, there's no like, oh, I stumbled across these people, and this person, like, since I saved these people, this person wanted to join me. It's just, oh, hey, I picked up a thing, and then a person came out.
Yeah, there's no micro stories really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think I kind of agree that the tactics part of it is kind of nice, that you can see everything that's coming. I think one of the ones that they telegraph the best is because the bugs come out of the ground. So they'll tell you next turn that the bugs are going to come out of this exact spot. And so if you move a unit onto that spot, or if you push an enemy unit onto that spot, that means they'll be blocked from coming up, so you don't have to deal with them next turn.
Yep.
So like stuff like that is pretty clever.
Yeah, and they use like those mechanics to create little mini challenges within the levels, or like create achievements to get what you use to get coins to unlock more teams of mechs. And then you can, once you have like enough mechs, you can start to build your own teams that fit your play style. And you can rename all the characters to whatever you want, or the mechs. So I did like one round with Hank Kill, Peggy Kill, Bobby Kill, and Lady Bird.
I'd like to take credit for the name Hank Kill.
Yes, Sam did give me the name Hank Kill. Sadly, they did not make it.
Hank Die.
What's the furthest that you've made in a run, Andre?
I think, did I finish? I got to maybe the boss fight of the 4th island.
Nice.
Yes.
Normal difficulty or
On
hard?
easy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to just like get through and figure out like, okay, what mechs do I like? And so I can figure out the mechanics. But like I don't think normal would be so hard. I'm just trying to like find the team that I like.
Yeah, I've been playing on normal, and I think it's probably a more advisable thing to say to go easy first.
That's how I played FTL. I played normal for a long time because I was stubborn. I went, okay, I'll play on easy. I was like, oh, I can actually like maybe beat this now.
Yeah.
And then unlock stuff, and then you get better stuff, so you can actually do better on normal.
I also bought this game, and I managed to get to the fourth island. I think a couple of battles in, but not to the boss. I've only played once. I do intend to play again though. I really liked it. I didn't really get FTL, like it never really clicked with me. And I bought this kind of based purely on watching Austin from Waypoint stream it. Once when he kind of like goes through it, and because he's not trying to be entertaining in the same way the Giant Bomb guys were with theirs, he's like talking through every mechanic, and he's explaining what he's doing and why he's doing it, and it just kind of clicked for me there. So I bought it basically straight away, and also watching Andre stream it, which if any of you were in the wrong time zones, you must probably missed out. But that was a good stream.
Chris up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, you know.
It's an interesting thing. Like, I think the FTL guys, like, they're basically one of the very few indie studios that can sell a game without like advertising at all, just because it's based purely on reputation.
Yeah.
Like,
from one game.
Yeah, from one game.
That was kickstarted.
Yeah, like on all the stuff that's on Steam, it's like from the makers of FTL, and I know for me, I was just like, okay, done, time to. I haven't bought it yet, but it immediately put it on my radar because I loved FTL. So it's interesting to hear you guys talk about it.
Yeah, I would say, Erica, if you are enjoying the tactical aspect of Rabbids, but are not enjoying the humor aspect of Rabbids, maybe Into the Breach would be a good time.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that you just have to make good decisions. It's not, if they give you everything, you just have to make the best choices.
It's also not as
there's no RNG.
Sorry, I was gonna say it's also not as brutal as FTL.
Agreed,
Like
Okay.
you're always kind of making forward progress.
I have still never had the run in FTL. I've tried like maybe 100 different times.
Yeah,
I've never had the run.
I beat it on normal
one time in FTL
once.
where I almost beat it, but we both exploded at the same time, so it did not count as a win, and I was so mad.
No.
I saw the enemy ship just cut in half, and I'm like, I did it, and then it was like, sorry, you lost because you died like a fraction of a second before, and I'm like, oh,
That's so sad. Yeah, I beat it on normal once, and it was basically just pure chance. I think I got like a really good EMP buff or something, so I basically just stun locked the mothership.
Oh god.
It's very interesting that they went from such an RNG heavy game to something that is very not RNG heavy. Yeah. The only RNG really is if buildings will not take damage.
Yeah,
you can see there's a 15% chance, and you can raise that, but that's the only thing that is left up to chance.
Do you know off the top of your head how high that where that cap is?
Nope.
30%.
It's
okay.
Yeah. You can you can get it up there, but also it's not easy to get up there, because you have to I don't know. There are still things I'm learning about the game, but yeah, you can raise that.
Yeah, that seems fair, because you don't want it to just be this cheese thing of oh, I've played 200 times, so now I can just ram people into buildings and there's 100% chance nothing will happen.
Yeah. It resets every time you start a new run.
Cool. But yeah, I think that this, along with the two games from January, Monster Hunter and Dragon Ball, I would put on my everybody should play.
Don't do this.
Before game of the year.
Don't do this.
I'm not saying they're on my game of the year list at all because
Don't
there's
do this.
a lot of games that I'm
Don't.
really interested
Don't
in,
do this.
and I already know what the number one on my game of the year list is going to be, and it's not even.
Don't do
But-
this. Brothers 2.
That's out next month.
Is
It's not
Oh
even
my
next
God,
month.
is it-
It's
is
out
it
in
really?
2 weeks.
Oh God. Okay.
Literally like 23rd, I think it is.
my
So that's
birthday.
Oh
Oh.
God, that's so much.
I showed the trailer to my other half and was like, we could play that together. And she's like, mm-hmm. Why don't you play it with my brother?
We could.
But yeah, so yeah, I would say that Monster Hunter, Dragon Ball Fighters, and Into the Breach are the locks for people should have some experience of this for the end of the year.
I really hope. Sorry, I really hope Into the Breach does the FTL thing and goes everywhere because I think it would be amazing on like an iPad or something.
It sounded like making FTL for work on the iPad was a nightmare for them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we got 53 minutes.
Speaking of making it work, Alex, what have you been up to?
I've been incredibly busy again. I've probably been watching more than I've been playing. I finished the show Dirk Gently, which I would recommend to basically anyone in this room, though it's really weird. Watched that Coco movie, which was
Coco's so good.
it was really endearing. For the first like third of it, I was like, this is all right. And then by the last 2/3, I was like, this is pretty fantastic.
That's
So-
the Guacamelee like movie, right?
Yeah, it's basically like Tron Spirited Away in Mexico.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That's a pretty good sentence to like get something on my radar. That's-
That's the best way I can put it. I've been continuing with Cat Condo though, because why not? I'm on like cat number 34 of 40 or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've fallen off hard. I mean, I check it like maybe twice a day at this point.
Oh yeah, I don't check it often. I just basically collect the
Grind.
passive bonus and then like turn on the doubler and stuff like that, and then just go do other stuff for a couple hours. But I've also been playing Into the Breach, which I'm super into, but we've already talked about that. I've been playing this thing. It's a genre you guys, I know it's probably a big surprise that I actually like this genre of games known as visual novels.
oh,
What?
Wow,
I
really?
know. So I know that's surprising.
Is that
So
one of them, their animes?
Genre. I haven't really heard of the genre before.
yeah,
That's
there's
the Dream Daddy one, right?
yeah, it's the Dream Daddy. Like that's the best one of them all. But oh
That's
god.
the reason why it's called the Daddy of visual novels.
And that's all for me. Yeah, no. No, I play. It's called Wonderful Everyday, and it's got glowing reviews on Steam and the Visual Novel Database and stuff like that. And I hadn't really heard of it before, so I kind of just dived into it without really knowing much. And I'm about 4 hours in, and it's about a 50-hour visual novel. So I haven't really gotten to what's supposed to be crazy about it yet. I've heard people liken it to the Doki Doki Literature Club kind of thing, where it's a story that's with all these really cute characters and it's really sweet and really wholesome, but it also has a big fat warning at the starting that's like, there is very explicit violence and gore in this, so be prepared. So,
No.
Oh, it's a visual novel.
yeah. But yeah, it's interesting so far. It's really cute. I'm not going to dive into the story because it's convoluted and has to do with like this high school girl becoming god and stuff. Not worth getting into right now.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do in Japan. Like Andre can tell you, that's what happens all the time.
I live in constant fear of that.
But
What
yeah,
what game is this called again, Alex? I missed the name.
Wonderful Everyday.
I will genuinely look into that because that sounds great.
Yeah, it's really it's cool so far. Though if you do download it, the Steam version only has the first of 6 chapters. You have to download an official patch from them to get the other 6 chapters, because apparently they're too bloody and gory and everything like that to be normally on Steam. And like they're so explicit and crazy that Steam is not super cool with it. I think there might be some sex stuff in there too, but I don't know.
On Google, I've searched for it, and it says people also search for the devil on a G-string.
Well, I can't say anything about that one, but Anyways, I'll
Yeah.
have more to say about that game next week because like 4 hours into a 50-hour visual novel isn't really enough to have an opinion about it.
It's referred to as an adult visual novel.
How
on
many
Wikipedia.
how many daddies out of Danganronpa?
I'd been avoiding mentioning that. I would give it like
9.99 out of 10.
Wow.
wow.
I'm gonna have to put a Steins Gate on this.
Make it stop.
Speaking of making it stop, Chris.
So I've been getting back into sort of a weird one for me. Let It Die, which if you know anything about me, sounds like one of the last games in the entire world I would want to play because it's Dark Souls, but it's also free to play. So I want you to pay money to play Dark Souls like content, and that just you would think that that would be like a total turnoff for me, but there's just something about the way that like your objective is just to climb this giant tower and you go through these rooms and you collect all this stuff to upgrade gear and stuff. And the interesting thing about that game is because it's a service-based game, you can never like get a second account. Like to have a second account, you would have to make a second PSN account,
Right.
right? Um, so it's interesting going back to that game because they give you, like death medals, which are your premium currency, which allow you to have revives. Like that's the main thing they can be used for, and you can turn them into currency if you want to, but that's really like sort of inefficient in a way. So it's interesting going back to that game and having like 20 death medals, but then instantly chewing through them all because you've totally forgotten the mechanics. And also, oh wait, that's why I stopped playing this game, is because the last time I played it I didn't have the gear, so I have to like go down to like lower levels and grind for this stuff. But also now I'm finding out that the gear that I need to equip, I need higher level fighters for, and to get higher level fighters you have to go higher in the tower. So it's just a lot of like stress, and I think maybe I've hit the wall with it again. But it's interesting to sort of go back to every couple of months because they always give you nice stuff for like coming back to it.
Would you say that Uncle Death had any influence on your choice to go back to it?
I mean yes, but so that's one of the disappointing things in the game that they've changed, is that they've now made it to where you can turn in your missions from um from the lobby and not go out to the arcade. So you don't even have to see Uncle, like the only time you would be forced to see or hear Uncle Death is when you do like the special gore attacks that every weapon has, which are, they randomly happen when you like stagger an enemy. So
Fuck
there's
this
like
game.
yeah, there's considerably less Uncle Death than there should be, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah,
And
that's
there
sad.
needs to be more Uncle Death.
Uncle
Got
Death,
cool
character
glasses,
of the
though.
year every year.
Yeah, totally. Like totally underrepresented by this great game. There just needs to be more Uncle Death.
I need to find some sunglasses like he's got.
They're so
He's
fun.
got a cavalcade. You cannot. It's not just one pair.
Yeah. I just need to find one of them.
It's like the Kanye West stunner shades.
Also, hopefully I wasn't peaking the audio. I just realized I
No,
could have
you're
been
good.
talking. Really
You're
loud.
good.
No issues.
Yeah, it's fine. Allison, I'll go last, so you're up next.
Okay. I had a pretty light gaming week. I played a little bit of more Bayonetta, but I got stuck on a boss, so I've been taking it easy for the past couple of days. So I've actually went back to one of my old standbys for games, which was The Binding of Isaac on
Oh,
Switch.
cool.
I've played it a lot. It's both the original and then Rebirth are easily my most two played games on Steam. And lately I've been playing it on Switch because I will buy it on every system that has it. But it's one of those games where every time I play it, I remember it just like reminds me of like, oh yeah, this is why I love this game. It has a lot of randomness to it, obviously, but that kind of makes it one of the most fun roguelikes for me, just because it feels like each game I have to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with this? Which items do I pick up? Which ones do I leave? And there's, even though I haven't played it in a few months, it coming back to it always feels very homey and feels very good, because it's despite some of the content of the game, because it just all of it kind of comes back immediately. So it's been fun to play that, although I do need to get back and actually beat that boss in Bayonetta that I've been avoiding.
What other roguelikes are you into, if any? Like, were you ever into Spelunky or like Darkest Dungeon?
I like Spelunky. I'm not very good at it, but I do like it a lot. I liked Rogue Legacy a lot.
Yeah.
I ended up beating that, but that was really great. Let's see, Into the Gungeon was good. I liked, or Enter the Gungeon rather. There's another one called Dungeons of Dreadmore, which I don't feel like enough people played, but it has a fun sense of humor, and I played a ton of that back a few years ago. So I like roguelikes a lot, but Binding of Isaac is my fave.
I just dug this out for the stream real quick. This is a Binding of Isaac blanket I made.
Oh my god.
I love it. I can't show you, but my laptop has stickers from the Switch version on it.
Cool.
So my laptop is all Isaac-fied.
Yeah, I made this for Xavier because that's by far his most played game, like a long shot. And that's probably the most hours of any game I've ever watched without playing too. But
it's just kind of amazing considering for the first game, which I've played more than anything. I paid like maybe $5-10 for, and it has hundreds and hundreds of hours. So it's one of those games.
Did you care about any of the other games that Edmund McMillan worked on, or?
I've actually been playing a little bit of Super Meat Boy in the post. Well, not post. I'm still playing a little bit of Celeste, but I ended up getting that for Switch recently, because I was feeling that Massacre. I want to play hard platformers, and even though I'm still not quite as into it as I am into Celeste, that's been fun too. So I do like his games. I haven't played his newest game yet.
The End is Nigh?
I haven't had a chance to pick that up, but I'm interested in checking that out eventually.
Cool. Well, in terms of games I've been playing, I've been playing I played 3 things this week. So I played Into the Breach, which we already talked about, and then I played the opening kind of 4 hours of 2 games. And I figured because I didn't play that much, I'm going to talk about both of them and break our rule of bringing 1 game a week. So first off, this is one that I think Pat would have wanted to talk about with me. So I haven't played too much. I think we'll maybe talk about it together a little bit later down the line when we've had some more time to it. But it's Kingdom Come Deliverance. So
some divisive feelings on that game.
Yeah. I've definitely got some divisive feelings on that game. I will say up front that I did not pay full price for it. I paid about a third of retail price for it by getting a Russian key for PC, which made a game that's normally £50, I think £14 something. So that was nice. And I think I was inspired to do that because I wanted to give Daniel Vavra as little money as possible. Although I think my opinion on should you support games by bad creators is kind of like, well, other people worked on that game. That's kind of a lot of my feeling on that one, and I think we can go into that on a kind of maybe as a larger topic at a later date, because I think we've all got something to say on that. But speaking of having things to say, Kingdom Come Deliverance, I so far haven't seen any of the shitty attitudes that put out by Vavra in the game, apart from the lack of ethnic minorities, which is kind of, it's not been so noticeable because I've met maybe 10 characters, maybe 10, 15. I've finished the opening section of the game. I've seen a few big cutscenes. I think I know where the story is starting to go. It plays quite well. I would say it's just kind of like a mix of a survival game and an Elder Scrolls game. So you have to monitor your hunger, and you have to sleep frequently, and you have to, you can't, stealing things you can get in trouble for, and all the sorts of things that you'd expect from an Elder Scrolls game. Weirdly, I don't traditionally like Elder Scrolls games or like Fallouts or the Bethesda open world, but I think because this is a Kickstarter game, so it's a lot less in terms of breadth, and I kind of feel like in the Bethesda games, there's so much to do, but none of it is super well put together or interesting. But all I've played so far really has been the main quest in Kingdom Come, and I feel like there's been a lot of effort put into it. Again, I'm about 4 or 5 hours in, so I don't know 100% what I don't know 100% what the rest of the game is going to be like, but for the time being, it's enjoyable, and I don't know if I would recommend it to other people yet. I have to say, I want to get a bit further in, but I'd like to talk a bit about it with Pat, because I know he's played quite a bit more of it than I have. So when he's back on the podcast in a few weeks' time, I will play nothing but that week, or try to. And the second game I want to talk about is Monster Hunter Stories.
Oh,
Plot twist.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'd do a cool plot twist. I brought a prop and everything.
Damn. Record scratch.
Yeah. So this week I bought a 2DS XL because I sold my old 2DS when I bought my Switch, thinking I'll never need this again. And then all I've been thinking about for about the last 3 months is playing 4 games that are available only on the 3DS.
Right.
So
I have the biggest seller's remorse from selling my 2DS because I lost Pocket Card Jockey.
Oh, so good.
Oh, that game is so
It's so
good.
good. It's so good. It's such a
It's so addicting.
Yeah, I love
you
that game.
Make sure you have it on that system if you don't already. It's like $8. It's like the highest recommendation in the entire world from me. It's
I will second that. It's so good.
I will buy that right now.
What is wrong with you people?
it's so good. It's
Nah,
so
I
good.
haven't played it. No, I can't say. It's so absurd to me that solitaire
so
horse racing game.
Anyway,
It works so well. And you'll race your horses and go, and then you'll get new horses. It's great.
Okay.
It's basically Cat Condo.
Except with horses and solitaire.
Horse Condo?
what I heard is Andre hates horses and fun, so I don't know.
I have no issue with horses. Fun, it's okay.
As
If
its
you've got
moments.
no issue with horses, I expect a 2-hour stream of pets, horses. Sweet.
Dude,
Alex owns the game. He can lend you his Steam library.
it's pretty great. I think I have a total of like 7 minutes in it. Heavy recommendation.
Yeah, so I played 4 hours of Monster Hunter Stories today on the new 2DS XL. Unfortunately, I've not been able to get hold of any other 3DS games due to the mass snowstorm in the UK. But I managed to get out to the nearest town to me and pick up Stories today.
Nice.
So, yeah, the 2 trains that ran from my train station today, there was one going out and one coming back in, and it just happened to be the the direction I needed to go, but I needed to get there, buy the game, and get back to the train station within 30 minutes. So that was fun.
Perfect.
But yeah, so I played about 3-4 hours of it. I don't know if any of you guys have played Yokai Watch.
Little bit. I had it, but I didn't really get into it.
So you know the spinner battle system
Yeah.
thing where you have to spin characters around to face them up. So
Yeah, I was not a fan.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much. Although I did still play about 10 or so hours of it, and I'm gonna restart it because I had a digital copy on my old DS. So as soon as Nintendo customer support opens and I can get my account deactivated and reactivated on this 3DS, I will be using it. I'll be playing it again. Yeah, so basically it's kind of a Pokemon-ish Monster Hunter game. So you're not hunting the monsters, you're befriending them. And you basically go out into this big open world, and there are randomly generated monster layers. So there's story missions and stuff, but on the way to these story missions, there'll be this like a monster layer, and you go in, you'll fight a couple of monsters, and then there'll be like an egg mound. You take the egg back to the town, and then you can hatch the egg into a new monster. One of the cool things is in the battle system. So it's kind of like, so you don't control your monster in battles, you only control your character. But basically there's 3 kinds of attack. There's speed attack, technical attack, and power attack. And it's kind of like the Fire Emblem triangle of weakness. They're all weak to the other one and strong to another. So you have
paper, scissors.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors.
Rochambeau.
So you have to guess based on the enemy type.
Kempo.
Yeah, based on the enemy type or what they've done previously or patterns that you recognize, what move they're going to do. Because if you do the wrong one, you'll do 2 damage to them and they'll do 30 to you. Whereas if you do the right one, vice versa. And if there's no jibe to it, then so if you're not weak, if you do the same attack to each other, then you both do a medium amount of damage. So it's really cool. Again, I'm only like 4 hours in at the moment, and I'm having a good time so far. So I don't know whether I would wholeheartedly recommend it yet. It had a pretty slow start, I have to say. The first like hour or so, there's not really much happening. But I kind of guess that's like every JRPG in the world ever, really.
I was going to say it's a JRPG.
Yeah, that's JRPGs.
And one other quick thing that I would probably going to talk about during the news, but seeing as I have played the game, I played Time UFO, the new game from HAL Laboratory, which makes the Kirby games.
Oh, cool. I didn't know about that.
It is on iPhone and Android, and it's basically a UFO catcher game. Like, so for example, the first level, a guy is a farmer and he's got a truck full of oranges, and they spill out onto the road, and he's like, "Can you put my crates of oranges back in my truck?" And your UFO has like a crane claw that wibbles and wobbles badly, just like you would expect for a UFO catcher. And so yeah, like you have the crane catcher, and you have to stack the boxes in his car, but also other things have fallen out, and if you put other things in, you get more points. But the quicker you do it, you get more points, and it's like there's 3 achievements per level. It's fun so far. It's $3.99 in UK money, so probably $4.99.
Yeah.
Is it more or less forgiving than Yakuza crane machines?
I have never. Less forgiving, I think, because I feel like the Yakuza crane machines were easy as hell.
Okay. Well, that's
Man. So I'd be curious, because HAL Laboratories is where Satoru Iwata came from. I wonder if there's going to be any kind of little tributes to him in there.
There is a box boy in the menu screen, which I showed you guys earlier.
Mhm.
The menu screen is adorable. So it's called Part-Time UFO because your UFO's never had a job, and so and you can dress him in outfits. So this is the beanie hat
Hell yeah.
that I have. It's pretty good. and outfits do different things. So this outfit makes it easier to slow down. So you kind of wiggle a lot less. It's
I
cool.
just bought that game on my phone now.
This is a
Sounds
third
very cute.
game. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, everybody. I actually didn't. I was going to talk about it in news, and I'll probably pull up the article from Polygon because they might have actually explained it better than I did.
Oh God.
No, yeah, they've said exactly everything that I said. So everyone should probably give that a shot. I'll show you guys the trailer or something maybe when we go through the news. So thanks everyone for letting me go through that 3-game horror story where I talk mostly about other things. Let's go straight into the news section. Unless anyone else has anything they want to talk about first.
I don't know if this
Great.
is,
I love.
but I don't. I've been shaking my head because I don't know if this is part of your news. But damn Nintendo, we were talking about this in our group chat and how Nintendo only stores your Switch playtime for 365 days.
It was gonna be in the news, but then there was an update on the Polygon article
Oh,
at the bottom,
dang.
which said that it's a bug and Nintendo are fixing it.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
great.
Well,
Okay.
hey, that's still new.
And I love that all of us were like, oh, this is such a Nintendo thing to do that we didn't even think, oh, that's probably a bug. We thought, oh, it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
They-
The Nintendo like solution.
Yeah, I think my first comment was just lol Nintendo. So
I think that's all of our comments. We were all just like, Nintendo.
okay, thank you for the update. I hadn't seen that.
Okay.
But before we get straight into the news, I just want to point out a sale that's going on with Star Wars: The Old Republic until March 6th, which is Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
You can get a 2-month subscription plus the added on story content for $20 as opposed to $30.
I thought
So
that game was free to play.
it is, but it still has a premium mode, and the story content is for subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So-
saw your post on that, and I'm super tempted because
Yeah.
I've tried that game like several times because I love Star Wars and I love BioWare RPGs. So I'm like I'm super tempted.
They've made it super easy to get through, and I do really recommend just paying the subscription fee, because playing it free to play is too much of a hindrance, in my opinion. Because they just do too many things to sort of handcuff you. But I really do feel like it's a good value for a subscription.
I really liked that game when it first came out. I probably played about 90 hours of the Imperial Agent storyline. 100% the best storyline.
Sam is now a ventriloquist.
Yes.
I've always had skills. We're going straight into the news with Erica's news story here. So do you want to run us through this bad boy?
Okay, sure. So Cyan is making the creators of Myst and Riven and Abduction. They are coming out with a new game, hopefully, called Firmament. So it's looking like Abduction was crowdfunded on Kickstarter. They're not going that route this time. They are instead showing a demo at GDC and hopefully trying to get some funding for it, because right now it's a little up in the air. I don't think Abduction did as well as they had hoped it would. But man, I just want everybody to give Cyan all the money in the world, as they make 3 out of my top 10 games, they have 3 of them in there. They're including my number 1. So, it's just, I'm kind of obsessed with everything they do and all of their games, and I'm very excited about the Firmament trailer that they showed, which looks steampunky, like sort of art deco-y, and there's some kind of mysterious voiceover done by a dead lady, and I want to know where it goes. So hopefully they get the money to do it, because I want it to happen.
I hope it has like the same badass, awesome FMV that Abduction had.
Yeah, well, that's like a big throwback to Myst, and I think Riven also had quite a bit of, yeah, it does have quite a bit of FMV. Like all of their games have like that goofy FMV going for it, because at the time when Myst came out, it was kind of really the first game to do things like that, and you know, it was such a big game at the time, and it sold so well because people were amazed by how it looked and the FMV in it. And it was terrible. Like the quality is like atrocious, and it does not hold up now, but it still holds a good place in my heart.
Erica, can I get a one-word answer from you on did you like The Witness?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to news story number 2. This is a good one, fellas.
Oh God, let's.
Oh,
Here we
wow.
go. Let's crack our knuckles.
Okay, let's
Okay.
just get into this. Let's.
Okay, so
I'm going to read the headline here, and then we can do our comments for the audio version. President Trump will meet next week with members of the video game industry.
what is the update on this? Because it says the headline ends
The
with
update is they spoke to the ESA, and the ESA were like, they're not meeting with us, and they're not meeting with any members of the ESA.
Okay, so yes, that was hilarious.
That's
like,
amazing.
Everyone's like, is he talking to you? He's not talking about me. Patrick Klepek, I don't know if he was the one who found this, but he tweeted out that Trump's soft-spoken, camera-shy brother is actually on like the board of, is it ZeniMax or something?
Yeah, ZeniMax.
So that might be that might be his video game contact that he is talking to. I don't know if anything has been confirmed, but it's all a sideshow to distract from real issues. I don't think any of us here are thinking video games cause violent behavior. I know, like, for school, I wrote some papers on it back in, what is it, late 2000s, before the 2010s. So early 2010s too, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I think this is treading ground that was already talked about 20 years ago.
Right.
And
It's
10 years ago.
Somebody
And-
called Jack Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, and also it's the whole, oh, does it cause violent behavior when, we have people on this podcast from Canada and the UK, and it's not like you guys have the same issues that's happening in the US, but it's not like you guys don't get violent video games there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yep. There's not a whole lot to say other than, God damn it. Oh,
Right.
Shout out to all the people who said, I thought he was going to respect games or whatever. Like, really? What?
People,
What?
wait, people thought that. What?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to go leave this podcast and go lie down. Oh, good Lord.
There's,
I'm excited to see Penny Arcade draw Donald Trump next week.
Who's
Oh, God.
Who's that guy? Boogie. He's like a Twitch streamer.
Ooh,
Mhm.
B2988.
Yeah.
He tweeted out like, the only thing I expected him to do right was like leave video games alone. Like, why would you? What?
Somebody tweeted something. This is totally off topic now. Somebody tweeted something that came up in my timeline about Boogie being super racist.
It
Really?
might be.
Something?
I went down a rabbit hole of his tweets, and he is very both sides ish, and compassion for Nazis, because if you show them compassion, they'll reform.
That's how it works.
Let's move on.
Wait, hold on. I got one more thing, like a really
Please.
side.
Go.
Go for it, Erica.
Okay, it's I was playing Yakuza earlier today, Yakuza 0, and in the game, which is literally about organized crime, somebody hands somebody a gun, and they're like, "Why do you have this?" It's just a completely different world.
Yeah.
Somebody tell Sleeping Dogs about that.
Yeah, man.
You're a cop. Just brutalizing other cops in that game.
Okay, so next story, and this is something that I heard about today when I was looking up the news, and I'm super excited about. So, has anybody heard about this?
What?
No.
So the guys who made Her Story are making an interactive TV series in the same way that we were expecting maybe like Quantum Break to be,
Cool.
with although less gameplay this side. So like a TV series that's fully interactive, and it comes out like in 2 weeks' time, and it's based on the War Games IP. So that the
War
game,
games? Like that War Games?
yeah, that War Games.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm so excited for this. Like,
I love
Yeah,
War Games.
Let's not watch the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm going to say let's not do that.
Did any of you guys play that game? It's on Steam. It's called Late Shift.
No,
No.
I've
I
heard
think
the
I own
name.
Yeah, it kind of did the interactive movie story thing pretty well, I think.
Oh,
So-
that's the FMV one.
Yeah, it's completely FMV. I'd be interested in seeing if that's kind of the direction they go with this.
I think that this one's episodic. I'm super interested to see what's going on with it. As soon as I can pre-order it or pre-register for it, I will be doing so. And this is definitely something that I want to talk about on the show.
Oh,
I mean,
You
Her
can find
Her
the
Story.
trailer on YouTube. Was it War Games, all one word, season
Yeah. Hashtag War Games.
1? Hashtag War Games, of course. My mistake.
Season 1. I watched the trailer earlier today, and it looks kind of interesting. And basically, what they've said is, here we go. I'll read this out real quick. Viewers will follow Jess Nurse as Kelly, an ex-military brat turned hacker activist, as she and a team of international hackers band together in an attempt to bring about peace. As events escalate, they may have done more harm than good. Viewers influence the story by switching between video feeds, and the series learns from their choices, resulting in experiences that are unique and personal.
Oh, interesting. So it's more like Night Trap than anything else.
There we go.
You can see the Her
Sold.
Story influence there, I think.
Her Story was awesome. I would trust them with this kind of
Sounds weird.
project.
I'll check it out.
Cool. Next story. New Overwatch hero.
Okay.
I watched Her Story trailer and I thought it was great, and I think her character design is really cool. She's basically like Lady Reinhardt, but she's a support character.
Oh, she's the daughter of Torbjorn.
kind of really, really reminds me of Leona from League of Legends. Like, a lot, actually.
I think we all agree that the big news here is that Torbjorn fucks.
Of course, Torbjorn fucks.
Robots.
If Bastion can fuck, so can Torbjorn.
Hey. Saying.
There you go.
But yeah, I haven't played Overwatch in several months, but I definitely want to go back and try playing as her because she seems rad.
I played a few games yesterday. I'm very bad at that game now since it's been so long since I've played.
I've always been bad at that game.
Yeah, I want to like love that game because like I have this love for any hero based game because it sort of appeals to my like need to like work with a team, but the problem is like at its core it's still a shooter, which I'm terrible at and I'm never going to be any good at. So it's just not fun enough for me to like keep going because people are so good now that they expect you to be a certain level. And yeah.
I used to play with a solid group of friends from my old job. We would all play on a team together, and so there was never any like bitching because we were always the same kind of skill level. We also used to roll out on occasion Team Bjorn, which is a team of all Torbjorns, all sitting around, camping around a point with turrets. So that was very not fun for everybody else.
I remember I played on a custom TF2 server where we would do that with Engineer. It's fucked up.
It was a lot of fun. Every time we won or got a full team wipe with Team Bjorn, there was a lot of cheering in the over the PlayStation party.
I haven't
Next
played it
story.
since it was new. I'm kind of interested to go back. I don't know.
I'm exactly the same, Erica. I think when the next lull in games, I will be
Yeah.
picking that up.
Yeah.
Next story. So, PlayStation Plus is dropping PS3 and Vita games in 2019. Does anybody care about that?
I mean,
No,
the
because
fact that they've kept it on for this long has been kind of admirable, actually.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, if I was looking at the list of PlayStation Plus games, if anything was PS3 or PS Vita, I was usually seeing if it was like cross-buy with PS4, anyways. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
I haven't.
I've mainly dropped my PS3 and my PS Vita has been lost for about 2 years because a friend has borrowed it.
Yeah, like
I-
the last like PS3 Plus game that was like meaningful was like Yakuza 6, and that was
Hmm.
like
It's not even out yet.
the last one, or Yakuza 5. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that was like the last one that would make me pull out my PS3, and even then I'm not going to do that because it's on PlayStation Now anyway, so
Mhm.
I can just
Yeah.
stream it that way. So
My PS3 is across an ocean, and also I wasn't downloading the Plus games anyway once I got a PS4. So
yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, I've been adding them to my library every month with the thought that if I buy a PS3 to sit in an entertainment center in another room one day, I've got 2,000 games or whatever. I think that I have Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 all through PlayStation Plus on PS4, PS3. But yeah, I'm enjoying. I've always been thought it was really cool that they would put those out, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to put this in here. But also, yeah, I think it's time. I think we've all just been looking at cross-buy games for 2 years.
Yeah, and
I'd be interested to see what it's going to change to. I think we're going to see 3 PS4 games and like 2 PSVR games.
yeah, but I think it's totally reasonable given the fact that I would think it's reasonable in 2018 for them to do this, but the fact that they're doing it in 2019 is totally fine because the PS4 came out in what 2013,
13.
so that's
Yeah,
like
they've been
six. That's
supporting us
6
for
years.
a long time.
So
there's only so many games,
yeah,
especially on the Vita.
Yep.
Man.
Played Vita games twice.
the Vita was
People complained about it.
the Vita was so cool for like 20 minutes.
I have a
Vita's still cool.
I have a PlayStation TV, and it's all right, except for the fact that it won't end up playing most Vita games. Actually,
Yeah, because if it needs to touch stuff, it doesn't work. Right?
That was a weird one.
It doesn't play a lot of like PSP classics and stuff as well, which is super annoying.
Mhm.
Like I was trying to play Valkyria Chronicles 2 on my PlayStation TV, and it didn't work. It's not compatible.
oh well, that's good to know, because that would have been one of the ones that I probably would have picked up the next time I looked at it. So
I think
So
sorry.
Chris, you can hack your Vita TV so it'll play anything.
I mean, I could, but then I'd go to jail, and I'm not gonna do that.
It's just a you can violate it.
No.
you didn't read it;
Alex.
it's not binding.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, I feel like you had something you wanted to say.
I was gonna say the only reason I've ever seen someone pick up a PlayStation TV was for Persona 4 Gold.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's why I was actually considering it.
Yep, that's like the only reason.
I was going to sell my PlayStation TV today, but to trade towards video games, but I didn't have enough time, so I just left it in a drawer.
So just brief aside, since you mentioned Valkyrie Chronicles, whatever, Valkyria Chronicles, every time someone talks about Valkyria Chronicles, something in my brain goes, oh man, Valkyrie Profile. I played it on the PSP. I think it was a PS1 game originally, and they ported it to PSP. Where's a fucking new Valkyrie Profile game? That game's rad. They did that what is it? No, it was that game they put out on PS4
Oh, Odin's
last
Sphere,
year.
Odin's
Sphere.
Sphere.
Yeah, that is that kind of game, like that kind of thing. Valkyrie Profile, give me it.
I've never even heard of that. So
It's
You're going to be
it's-
thinking about Valkyrie Profile a lot later this year when Valkyria Chronicles 4 comes out.
I think about Valkyrie Profile every time it happens.
Okay, let's talk about old games.
Okay.
Chrono Trigger is on Steam.
Oh God, have you seen this?
Yeah.
Spoilers, it's bad.
It's terrible.
Bad.
It's the mobile port, which
I
I
was
own.
excited for
on
all of
my
5 minutes because of this.
Yeah, the Polygon article has a real twist on it. It's quite funny.
So
So
I was reading that actually.
confession time. I've never played Chrono Trigger. Please don't hit me.
No, it's really
neither
that's
have I.
fine.
I've been meaning to, and that's why I was
It's-
excited. 'cause
it's
I
really
wanted to
good.
Play it.
It's a great
Watch
game.
the endurance run on Giant Ball.
Yeah.
Every so often, I still probably need to pick up that DS port because I've heard that's the best one.
It's really good.
Because you can take it with you.
But yeah, Chris,
I
it's
can.
yeah, no stress about not having played it. It's a great game though. But Sam, is it in that article that like apparently it's only on Steam until like April?
What?
I've
I think
heard
it was
that,
only
yeah.
like the.
Available until April 12th, 2nd, as a limited edition.
Oh, the limited edition is okay.
No, I think it's just available. Oh no, limited edition only till April 2nd.
Yeah.
It's actually
Um,
limited.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, so Chrono Trigger is the first JRPG I ever completed.
It's a good one.
It didn't come out here in the UK, I don't think. So you can imagine how legally the version that I completed was on
So
one summer holiday.
Akira Toriyama, that art style just really shining through. Got some Super Saiyan God action going on that protagonist right there.
It's very cool. But yeah, so it's a really, really cool game that everyone should play, but not on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled up the Steam page
Or your
for
phone.
it, and there is a note saying like we've seen all the issues, so we are aware of all the issues you've raised, which we are currently assessing. Please keep an eye on the Steam page for further information. That's about it. And it's like, well, if all they did was port the mobile version, then I don't know what they could do to fix it, but
Put out
we'll see.
We hear you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's put another game out.
Do you
We're
Mostly-
sorry.
sorry.
yeah.
Do you guys think that Chrono Cross hangs? Like do you,
It's got a 10 on GameSpot.
but it did, but like do you think it
Was that a freelancer?
yeah. But do you think like
No one
if
else
you
played it.
went back to
Yeah.
it today, would it still be good?
I played Chrono Cross in 2005-ish. So a few years after it had been out. And I didn't think it hung that well then.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it.
I-
So
I didn't love it at the time either, so I don't know.
next article, which is probably our biggest one, which is one of the reasons I saved it towards to the end. ESRB
Yeah.
is going to be putting a label on games that have loot boxes.
That is not gonna do a single damn thing.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, especially since it's in-game purchases, which
Well-
is pretty much every AAA game nowadays.
Yeah, it's like more or less
So-
ubiquitous.
So does it say if it counts as like, oh, it has a link to like the PlayStation Store as in-game purchases, or yeah, like what counts as an in-game purchase? And also, was there? Oh, I lost it. Come back to me.
There's just so
Looking
much here
down.
that's just like the most like please don't like disband video games, like please don't ban the selling of them, please, just like so many band-aid solutions here, because it's like the kids asking for loot boxes, which is why this is a thing in the first place. The kids asking for loot boxes are like their parents already know that these loot boxes exist, so you're not I don't know, like you're not actually giving anybody any information, because like the people asking for loot boxes, it's not like they're having their credit card stolen and like being made to buy loot boxes, and it's so infuriating. because
Yeah.
they're not.
So I have a really funny story on that front. So I was in a game store over Christmas, and this guy comes in and he's like, "I want to buy." I want to buy a games console for my son, but either an Xbox One, a PS4, or a Switch, or a modern console that can be made so that it can't connect to the internet, like physically cannot connect. It's like, so either like, and I was like, oh well, parental controls will do all that, because I was at the counter and he was asking a question. The guy had no idea, and I was like, oh well, parental controls. And he goes, well, and he literally pulls his son over and he goes, well, doesn't matter to him with parental controls. What he does is he just creates a new account. It's like he spent £5,000 this year on
Jesus.
microtransactions, and this guy, this kid was stealing credit cards out of wallets while the parents were asleep,
Wow.
and buying like hundreds of pounds worth of stuff.
So
And
why is he
he's,
buying him a new console?
Like, no video games
No,
for you.
I-
You've spent $5,000 on microtransactions.
I have 2 words for that man: Calico Chameleon.
But yeah, no, and he was like, oh yeah, he's even when we have guests to stay, he'll steal their cards out of their wallets and use theirs.
What?
Oh my
And the
God.
kid has stood there and he is so embarrassed, like,
Wow.
to, like, he looks
Good.
like,
Did
he
you
was
check
like,
your Did you check your wallet? Make sure your credit card was still there.
oh no, but
Wasn't
no, he
like
was
Penn
like,
and
yeah.
Teller?
I was like, wow, that's terrible. And he's like, yeah, well, I've been able to reverse the charges with MasterCard, but still.
Man.
He said apparently every game company will let you have the money back. So like Steam, Nintendo, Microsoft, except Sony. They'll let you spend it. It's ours now.
Yeah. So, like they will occasionally like, oh, you can just put this back in your wallet and we'll take the license away from whatever you bought. But if you buy like currency, they're like, nope. It's you spent it.
Weird.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Everyone else is totally fine with it.
But still, back to the article. I just don't like. I think the worst part about loot boxes is the RNG, right? Like you're basically it's the question of whether or not it's gambling. Like if you're playing a slot machine, basically, and I think that's where it gets iffy. And I think that should be subject to some kind of regulation, like what China did, which is showing you the actual odds of getting a certain thing. Like that's at least a step forward.
Yeah.
I don't think saying this game possibly has microtransactions on the box does anything, just the same way that having online interactions not rated by the ESRB on there, like that also doesn't really do anything. So I think, I just think that this move isn't particularly groundbreaking or anything.
It's not supposed to be. It's just supposed to be enough to the people in government who don't have any insight into the issue and go, hey, we did a thing.
Sure.
And it's a band-aid solution until people complain more, because like the issue isn't that there are loot boxes, it's the way they're used. Like in the Battlefront, where like you can use loot boxes to overcome like a skill gap, or it's not fair and balanced like people would like. So yeah, I don't know.
Too true.
And we've got one final news story.
I gotta hop out, but yeah, I
was
don't
just
think I would want to play this.
You, Andre. This is the whole reason the news story was in here.
hey. Headline that the one update, the one story, the Trump one had update in the headline. This one did not, despite having an update. So who wrote this article? Michael McWhirter. You can take it up with him.
This one, yeah. It
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Andre.
Bye, Andre. Andre got my hopes up and then cruelly dashed them earlier this week. While he's not here, I'll dunk on him more.
He's dead to us now.
Yeah, rest in peace, Andre.
Yeah, he was dead to me as soon as he sent me this link.
He died in the Mayonnaise tsunami.
Yeah. Basically, Blizzard released a tweet with a video of Diablo Nightlight being switched on and off, and that immediately got half of the internet erect. And
it's a good way to put it.
Blizzard had to come out with a comment and say, guys, sorry, we're not that clever. It's not a tease for Diablo on the Switch. What I think it is, though, I actually do genuinely believe that they are that clever. I think it's a foot in the pool. I think they're testing the water. to see whether the demand or the interest is there. So for me, anyway, I'm hoping that they see this podcast and know that I would buy that game at least twice, as I've already bought Diablo 3, I think 5 times. So
I bought Diablo 3 on PS4 and haven't managed to make it through the second act.
You know, if it was for if it was for Switch, I've never played a Diablo game. I might buy it, but that's purely because I love everything on my Switch. So that like having something on the Switch makes me go, I'm intrigued by that.
How much the
Diablo
Switch?
3 on
Sorry.
Diablo 3 on PlayStation 4 is my most played game of all time. I have like 2,000 hours in that game.
Jesus.
I used to treat it like I would like spend my like lunch break looking up new strategies and new secrets in Diablo, and then go home and like play all night.
Hello, kitty cat.
Yeah, she's upset because Diablo's not coming out on Switch, right, guys?
But do you think if they put Diablo out on Switch, it'd be full price? Like, are they going to charge the Switch tax?
Probably.
100% they would charge the Switch tax.
Hmm.
They would be like, oh, we've added all these features from the console version. So I would assume it would be a Game of the Year edition with the Necromancer and Reaper of Souls built in. And I would assume that it wouldn't have seasons. And then they will sell you something like a seasons patch at a later date. Seasons is actually one thing that I've not really messed with on that game because it came out on console after I was kind of forcing myself not to play it.
Do you think for somebody who understands the basics of the mechanics but never did like super high end stuff, do you think Seasons is like a good way to like get a dose of that because you have to make a new character every time?
Yeah, I mean, Seasons is really cool because it's like you only really have to get a character to level 60. I think it's 70 now. And you only have to get a character to level 70 to like get the seasonal reward. And like the score that you have is based on like your Paragon levels and all the metrics at the end of the season. But if seasonal characters being one and done every season is kind of fun in that you need to start something new. But again, I haven't played seasons really. I've got like 2 seasonal characters to level 70, but I didn't get super deep into it. Yeah, I couldn't recommend a game more than Diablo 3. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid game, even though I don't find the loop as rewarding as the game wants me to. I can still admit that, like, objectively, it's probably one of the top 10 games you could buy for your console.
I think the big thing for me is that there's like so many secrets in that game. So like I spent probably about a month maybe farming a specific item. So there is in 4 areas of the game there's an optional boss that will spawn probably 1 out of every 3-4 times you load in. That optional boss has like a 5% chance to drop a piece of an item, which you use to build a portal where you fight other optional bosses, and those optional bosses have like a 10% chance of dropping an item.
Right.
So I spent about a month on that.
Yeah, you're getting into like EA Sports like loot pack odds at that point. You're just like praying to God you get something good.
Yeah, and like the times when you have like the satisfaction of getting all 4 bosses to all drop it in one play session.
Oh my
was
God.
so high.
Oh,
and
that
like,
must have been like just the greatest feeling in the world, honestly.
yeah. And like I didn't just play the Diablo. I watched The West Wing a lot while I was playing. So I basically would have my TV like up, like above and behind my laptop. So I would have the laptop like directly in view, and I would just watch The West Wing because like when I'm farming certain specific items, I had the difficulty on such a low level that most enemies can be killed by thorns. So, and there's a special pair of boots that you can get, which means that you can walk through enemies, and it basically just made the game kind of like, it kind of changed the game into something completely different. I realize I've talked about Diablo for about 15 minutes. Very good game.
I have like a weird aversion to the game. I actually played a little bit of it, and it's
Sorry, I'm
I
just
don't-
shutting the podcast down. If you give me
It's for a reason. It's for a reason. I don't actually think it's a bad game. I've played a bit of it. It's a good podcast game. Like, it's good
yeah.
for listening to stuff and doing other things at the same time. But when Xavier, my husband, was trying to convince me to get a PS4, I asked him which game was he going to buy on it, and he said Diablo, and I'm like, oh, the game that you've been playing hundreds of hours on your PC, and now you're gonna want to spend what $400 to play it on something else. Like, I'm just like weirdly biased about it. I don't want to. I hate it.
I mean, I'm not into those kinds of games either. Like, I've put dozens of hours into Diablo and Torchlight and Grim Dawn and stuff like that. A little bit into the original Divinity, and they're just not for me. So I feel you. Like,
Rest in peace, Marvel Heroes.
also that. But I don't know. I think I think Diablo on Switch would be a really good platform for it.
People love that game. They should put it out. They'll just make money on it.
Yeah, definitely.
People are gonna buy it.
Especially because there's already a 360 version of Diablo 3, which they could port up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've seen 360 PS3 games ported to Switch. Sorry, my cat's playing with a really loud toy.
It's fine.
Shut him in the utility room with the toy. He'll have fun. But yeah, so yeah, if it came out on Switch, I would probably give it like 40 or 50 hours and be like, this is enough. Because I don't know how far down the rabbit hole I could go a second time. But yeah, it's my most played game of all time by a country mile. Like, I think Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy 12 are the next closest ones. Oh, and the original Destiny and Destiny 2.
Sure.
If you combine my Destiny hour count, it's probably close to 350, 400. And but my Final Fantasy 14 hour count is super high because I was playing that and Diablo at the same time. If people wanted to play games, I played Final Fantasy 14. If nobody wanted to play games, I played Diablo by myself. So, yeah.
Was this before or after the Realm Reborn?
Oh, after Realm Reborn.
Okay.
I started playing on PS3 like a month before the PS4 came out.
Oh.
And then they put it out free on PS4 if you had the PS3 version, which was super awesome because it looked and played infinitely better. So when the PS4 came out, I was like, fuck, there's no games on this console. And I bought it day one, and all I was playing was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which I did not like. But luckily, 14 came along like a month or two in and saved that console for me.
God, it's so weird to think about. Like, the PS4 hasn't been out that long, but it's a super long time in gaming terms because like just the way that games have changed and the conversations around games have changed in those years.
It's been around a lot longer than the Dreamcast ever was.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Almost 5 years. It was announced 5 years ago last week, I think.
Oh wow.
What the
I
hell?
remember that press conference.
Sorry. I have the chat open for for this on Facebook, and we have a fellow in here saying, "Good day. Here in response to your Craigslist ad for the Lazy Boy suede sectional sofa."
Awesome.
So, thank you. How much for the Lazy Boy suede sectional sofa? I think you have the wrong gaming podcast, my friend.
Oh, we've got viewers. There's a lot of people here. Someone saying hello there, ma'am.
Ms. Lesbian,
finally.
please begin the auction. I have
You
no
got
idea.
it.
Thanks, friends. Yep. I'm gonna close this chat for now.
I'm keeping the chat open, mostly for comedy reasons. Speaking of which, the sectional is going live in 10 minutes on eBay. So if anybody wants to just go to eBay and search for stamps.com.
I'm just love reacting to every one of these.
Yeah. This is the most people we've ever had watch it. 7 people currently watching the stream.
So that's the strategy for getting people to watch your damn podcast stream is you put couches on Craigslist.
Yeah. Let's get sectional, baby. Speaking of which, maybe it's time to shut the podcast down. Forever. No. Yeah, so we haven't decided what we're going to do for our review yet. I think the number one pick was that we were going to watch a wrestling pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
New Japan Wrestling.
Yes.
Wrestle Kingdom, I believe.
Yes,
is the...
Wrestle Kingdom 12 is the one that we're watching.
So, yeah,
which is the latest
I think
one.
we're committing to that now, right? We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm very interested to see what it's like.
Allison, don't look too excited now.
I was like, oh, I'm really busy that week. What week? Just the one.
Oh.
When you're doing it.
I should note as an aside, but still related to monthly things that we've done. Crunchyroll, every year they do kind of a judged vote combination thing for their Anime of the Year awards. So like there's a panel of like 12 judges, and then there's a community vote, and then the awards are decided like a 50-50 draw. So like if the judges all vote unanimously for one thing, it's going to go to that, but if there's a tie, it goes to the community. And Anime of the Year and Score of the Year went to Made in Abyss. Just saying.
Did no other animes come out?
Many.
Oh, no.
Many.
My Hero Academia won quite a bit.
They won. Yeah, they basically won everything else.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Good anime.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, monthly stuff for this month. We are going to be watching Wrestle Kingdom 29?
12?
12?
I was
close.
gonna say, there's no...
Not yet.
29?
Which is the last Wrestle Kingdom, this year's Wrestle Kingdom.
So yeah, we'll be watching Wrestle Kingdom 12 this month.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch along with us, we're going to be talking about that on the last podcast of the month, which is going to be, from now on, is going to be our special episodes. We're also, once Andre has seen Black Panther, I think we're going to do an extra episode where we do a bit of Black Panther chat. Maybe
Yeah,
a
I gotta see it
movie.
too.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
should-
you're going.
I should probably go see it sometime this week.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Well, I don't think Andre is going to be able to see it for a week or two, so I think we've all got some time. But then we also need to figure out when we're going to record it. So yeah, it'll be appearing in the same feed, but I think we want to do a separate episode so that we can try and keep vaguely on topic for the gaming show. Maybe the monthly stuff will break out eventually. We'll see. Maybe if more than the 6 of us that are on the show listen to it, we can start getting some feedback.
We're getting plenty of feedback in the chat.
Oh, well, I just told them that Suede isn't very good because yeah. So the big thing for us, which we are going to start requesting you every single week, is to rate us and review us on iTunes and subscribe to the podcast. Even if you watch the video version live, even if you are one of the people in this podcast room, please rate and review and subscribe on iTunes. Every single subscribe gives us an extra
of life. Crap. The podcast audio just died.
I feel like we should probably get all of our ducks in a row channels wise and just start calling everything Gaming Fix.
Forever.
Yeah. Or Fix. I think Fix is good because then we can put everything on it in the same way that other like IGN or Polygon or whatever do. Actually, Polygon's pretty game related. Anyway, so the podcast audio has died, right, Alex?
Oh no, we're all good.
Oh, great.
Okay. I was just vamping there. Yeah, so thanks everybody for listening. Please rate and review us on iTunes and subscribe to us on iTunes. Again, even if you don't listen to the show that way, if you prefer to watch the video version, Alex will tell you where you can see all the video versions archived in a minute, because I don't 100% know. But yeah, thanks again everyone for listening. Special thanks again out to Chris for subbing in for Pat.
No problem. I'll do it anytime.
Yay.
Excellent.
All right, let's just get rid of Pat
yeah.
every now and again.
Yeah.
He's still dead to us. So.
Yeah. One day he'll actually die or something, and we'll all be super
Feels
upset because
so
we'll have been
bad.
making jokes for like 3 hours about it. But yeah, so first off, Chris, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Wheels1993. You can find the guy who does my avatar art at odd_particle.
Awesome. Erica?
You can find me on Twitch tonight. We are committed to finishing Yakuza 0 tonight.
Ooh, I'm going to be there for that one then.
Hopefully will be the last Yakuza 0 stream for us. And then we have quite a few things in the works as to what we're doing next. But I'll tell you more about that next week, I think. And then you can also find me on Twitter at Erica, spelled AIREHCUH, and my other podcast, Temperate Expectations, which is about video games and wrestling.
Awesome. Allison?
You can find me at stamps.com/stamps.com.
Mhm.
I don't know why they're doing it that way, but they're doing it that way. So
It's good.
sorry.
Good to get that joke in every week. And last but not least, Alex, where can we find this show? Because you refuse to give out your social media details on the podcast.
You can find it on YouTube if you Google the podcast. But no, for real, it's just on my YouTube channel. I can make a more broken out one someday.
Yeah, I think that's something that we will eventually do, but it's probably only the 5 of us who listen to or watch the show right now. So I don't think it's that necessary so far.
We'll get there.
If you are not one of the people who actively is a part of the cast for this podcast, thank you very much for listening, or watching or interacting. I'm not putting a shoe on my head. I apologize.
I got a sock. I don't got a shoe, but you know.
Well, I have a slipper. So...
That's impressive.
Thanks everybody for listening to the show today, and we will see you next week.
All right, later, nerds.
Bye.
Bye everyone.